BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We are here for silver. I am back in the commentary box, and we have got some action underway already. We are late to the show because we did start early, very nicely done indeed from all the drivers to get into the lobby very quickly. But also, we have got a championship challenge underway, I should say. The title can be won tonight here in the US of A, and B Rabbit could claim the Drivers' Championship here tonight in the circuit of the Americas in Austin, and it could come down to this race. 18 rounds have been completed. There is still 4 to go after this one. Of course, a sprint event here tonight, and of course, there's one left in the season in Brazil. So that means 112 points are on offer after this race itself, or after these races tonight here itself. But of course, we've got 8 points available for the winner of the sprint event, who of course is coming up after qualifying. And then we have the Grand Prix itself of 29 laps there. Gino sets the fastest lap so far. He is the first man out on track there, of course. 33.530 there for the Haas driver. Just letting the very nice liveried Ferrari go through. I think that is a Ferrari anyway. It looks like a very nice liveried Ferrari. Of course, they had this livery in the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and I think that was what the update was for, which we saw come out earlier. The Ferrari there in the Las Vegas themed livery around the US of A as well, which is looking good indeed. McConey there sets the second time on the board. 33.796 there. Of course, McConey now in the Williams full time as Kaz sets the fastest precedent so far in the McLaren there. 32.842 for the McLaren driver, reserving tonight then in place of Irvine. And Crush GT just getting himself set and underway. We'll go to the championship challenger there of Dylan there. He is 19 points, but not 19 points, probably. Oh God, I've choked on me tongue. He is not 19 points, I should say. He is within range of the title. But he is, I think he's about 86 points back there as it stands. Of course, like I was saying, the 112 points on offer after this race weekend. So there is still going to be some opportunity then for the title to carry on there into Mexico next week. But if B Rabbit there can maximize his points, can he extend his lead on the championship challenges? And if he does, that will guarantee his title here in the US of A. Dylan there into P2 with a 33.0. They're looking good indeed, and that could be helpful for his championship hopes, I should say, as Kamara there is into P3 with a 33.0 as well. Jenner back in the pit lane. Beast is up into P5. Good stuff from Beast. McConey, I don't think set his best time there on that track, but maybe just getting a sighter in here. Dopey Lemons in P7, Sweet MJP there in P8, I should say. Sick as Muck reserving for KD, I think it is, in the Alpha Tauri there in P9. V Todd in P10 as it stands there. And Mumford is going to start off his flying lap now. Mr. Elite is coming down the back straight, but unfortunately has invalidated his time. And Craigar is coming round now to finish off his lap. So we'll stick on with the Alpha Tauri, the other Alpha Tauri here of Craigar. Let's see what he can do here in the Alpha Tauri around the final corner of this it's not everyone's fan favourite, this circuit, but he's up into P7. There's Craigar. Not everyone's fan favourite, but it's still a pretty good circuit in my opinion. But yeah, you can lambast me in the comments there. Big word of the day. So there we go then. Craig R into P7. That's good stuff from him. Crushteteer into P11 there with a 36-0 there. VTOD is just about to start off a second flying lap attempt. And we'll come back to him because there's a few drivers there further along. Mumford, unfortunately, has invalidated. So has Mr. Elite, unfortunately for him. So we'll go back to VTOD, actually. Coming through the beginning of Sector 2. I think there's rain about to fall. I think we just saw the flash there. That is when the rain starts to fall. There could be a rain-affected qualifying here for the US of A. And unfortunately, those who haven't set time to show or are still in the pit lane who haven't got time on the board could be finding themselves at risk then if the rain does start to fall. And yeah, that could be a pretty problematic there. B Rabbit, of course, the championship is in his hands here tonight. He is not out on track, unfortunately, as it stands, which is a bit of a shame because we want to see what he can do here in this qualifying. And if it's going to be a bit rainy, then we don't want to see any difficulties there for the championship fight. Tango is also out on a lap. He is down there in P18 as it stands. No time on the board, but he is purple in Sector 1, which is promising stuff indeed. Of course, Tango is technically the closest challenger, or mathematically as well, is the closest challenger there to B Rabbit then in P1. And of course, he is 85 points back there from the championship leader. But like I was saying then, if he can outscore B Rabbit then tonight, he can take the title carrying on into Mexico next week. So it is not all done and dusted just yet there. Tango there is looking to try and keep the title fight alive, as hopefully you saw the lovely graphic that we did. But then Ola says, Gordo then in the comment section, oh, I like this as well, says Gordo. Pot Stuff says, good luck lads, I wish I could be there, but come on, sweet MJP in the Williams in P9 as it stands. Gordo said, what are the acceptable wings to run? I'm not quite sure. You might need to sort that out before you get into the lobby because the qualifying now underway. We've got 10 minutes, just over 9 minutes left of this qualifying session now. Tango around the penultimate corner then to finish off this first flying lap then of the qualifying session. I don't think the rain is falling as Tango sets the fastest lap of the qualifying so far. 32, 5:35 there. Very good stuff indeed from Tango there, and he's looking very strong indeed as well as we finish off the first flying laps of the session so far. B Rabbit is out on a lap now as well, as is Mr. Elite. We'll come back to him because VTOD is just finishing off his lap there. He's improved to a 34.9 then into P11 then for the other Alpine driver. Good stuff indeed. Gino is back out on track 2. And he's just negotiating through turns 2 and in towards the S's, and the very nice flowing S's. If you can get it right, it is perfect. Obviously, if you get it wrong, it is not so perfect. But there we go. Car number 3 of the Haas of Jinner. They're coming through now in towards sector 2 and finishing off the first sector in style as well. Very good stuff indeed. And currently in P5, we're going to see the return of the form of Jinner. Hopefully, he has had a struggle then through the mid part of the season, but now into the final few races of season 6 for Silver, season 9 for ALR, and he is looking good, looking to try and regain the form that he started off the season with as well. Gordo has said he's grand. That's good stuff indeed. As into sector 3 we go then. This is the technical side of the circuit, I should say. Technically, literally, there is 2 technical sectors, and then the middle sector is pretty much just that big straight, really, isn't it? So making sure you get the wings right, as there's a McLaren going slowly out in front of us there, just getting out of the way there, hopefully, of Jinner, who has come through now to finish off his second attempt here, this second flying lap here for the Haas. As, of course, in his home Grand Prix, well, the Haas's home Grand Prix, and he has improved by 0.3, but he stays P5 for the time being there. He's only a 10th or so away from Kamara Racer in P4. We'll come back to that battle as McConey there is coming through. There's an AlphaTauri in the way. He needs to make sure it gets out of the way then quickly as stuff indeed. That was close. And McConey now through in towards the final quarter. Might have been a bit unsighted there by that AlphaTauri, but now up to the line. What can he do? He's improved by 0.4 of a second there into P6 there as well. Good stuff from the Williams driver, of course, on his first full-time appearance here in Silver. And looking strong indeed. Of course, we saw the pace from him in Qatar last week in the Ferrari, I believe it was, reserving in the Ferrari. And now he's got himself a nice, cosy Williams seat indeed. So good stuff from him. Gordo said that, yeah, Gordo still had pot stuff there, sorting out the setups then in the qualifying, but Dopey Lemons has jumped up to P10. Sweet MJP there down into P11 as it stands, but he's still on a flying lap attempt. We'll come back to him because we need to find out who's going to be the next to cross the line. It's not going going to be, Dopey Lemons. I think he's jumped up to P9 there. He's just jumped ahead of Craig R there into the, or in the top 10 now, as we've got more action coming through. V Todd there just starting off a flying lap now, and there's a Aston Martin coming back to the pit lane as well. Mumford, I think, is crossing the line out to set his first time on the board. It's P5 from Mumford on his first attempt. Good stuff indeed. Great lap indeed as well from the McLaren. Both McLarens looking strong, as are the Aston Martins, and that is pretty promising indeed there. Of course, one of the Aston Martins is the championship protagonist and currently the pole sitter of not so much anymore, sorry, I should say, because Kaz has jumped up the order there into P1 with a 32.356, and like I was saying, Tango there is looking strong in the qualifying pace. Let's hope that can translate as well. Dylan is in P3, then he's not got much battery or fuel left to play with, I don't think, on this lap, so he might have to get out of the way there of the McLaren of Kaz. Oh, Kaz is coming back round as well on an in lap as well. So that is that. Then done and dusted. Mr. Elite up into P9, looking good indeed. He's had a bit of a difficult run of form there in the last few races, but Mr. Elite looking to get himself back on song here in the US of A. Good stuff indeed. Very nice indeed. Right then, so like I was saying, the championship permutations and whatever that is called, Gordo, they're just starting a lap as well. Like I said, the championship permutations, if B Rabbit outscores Tango by 18 points, I believe, mathematically, that is, he wins the title here tonight. Of course, the sprint event, there's a total of 8 points on offer, of course, if you win the sprint, as unfortunately V Todd there invalidating on the final corner. And like I was saying, yeah, 8 points available on the for the sprint event, that is, as that is B Rabbit. They're not having a great time there in that first attempt, unfortunately for him. Krusty T there just looking to get himself down the back straight. So 8 points, sorry, for the sprint event, and then of course the normal point scoring for F1 in the feature, or the actual Grand Prix, and of course the fastest lap is available as well if you're outside the top 10, so long as you finish the race itself. So there is plenty of points on offer here tonight. We'll have to wait and see who is going to be able to grab the most, I should say, and take us either to the next race in Mexico for the championship fight, or wrap it up tonight here in the USA. So we'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold here in this interesting circuit. I think it's going to be one hell of a fight. If it's going to be a title fight, the top runners are going to be in a battle for the most of the race, I think, or most of the races. Of course, the sprint and the feature. As here comes Craig R there in P7, coming back to the pit lane there. He's decided to call it a day there on that attempt. So is Gordo. Unfortunately, Gordo's invalidated his run on that next attempt there as well. Is he going to come back to the pit lane, or is he going to stay out? He's coming back to the pits, I think. It would be your best bet, I should say. Krusty T is on a lap. They will come back to him. I think he is behind Farf, who's coming down the back straight there. Farf, on his first and only attempt here, is coming down towards the end of Sector 2 now. Lucas Percy said Farf is going to stick it on pole. I think that is probably one that you're not going to get any odds on, because I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. As much as I like to annoy Farf, I'm sure he's very quick indeed. He is currently P4 in the standings, of course, but he is of course not in the championship fight at this stage anymore. But now let's see what he can do around the final corner there. Is it going to be a 33-2 or 3 or 4? It's a 33-4 and into P9, into the top 10 there for Farf. Good stuff indeed. Krusty T is the next driver out on track on a flying lap here. Into Sector 3 we go. In the Ferrari, it looks that livery looks fantastic, actually, to be fair. I really enjoyed watching the Las Vegas Grand Prix, as he's, I think, abandoned his time there. He's gone into neutral, which is not going to help his rotation, or his speed, that is. But there we go then. Yeah, so like I was saying, the livery looks absolutely fantastic indeed, especially around the Las Vegas Strip that we saw on Sunday morning, or Sunday morning for UK viewers, that is. Kamara Racing now coming round the penultimate corner. He's coming back to the pit lane, I think. So I think that could be his session done and dusted. The P4 is going to be at best for the Aston, and that is him into the pits, and I think without enough time to come back out again as well. So now we have to find out who's going to be next across the line, really. Krusty T is going to start off another lap, but he's unfortunately not going to have much battery or fuel on board, I don't think, for this next attempt. B Rabbit is only going to have one attempt to set a competitive time in this session. He's done a 41.365 in his first outing. but of course he needs to try and get himself further out of the order. We saw Troye last night in gold. He had a bit of a difficult time in the sprint event there. He finished P15 in the sprint, but he claimed P2 in the actual Grand Prix, in the actual race, which was absolutely fantastic, as B Rabbit is struggling with the car there through turn 1. And that could be bad news indeed for his championship fight here tonight, or championship resumption, I suppose you could call it, because he's trying to close out the championship here tonight. Farf is in the pit lane, I think, and he's retired there. He's not going to be able to get himself back out in time to attempt another run there. B Rabbit, Crush Your T is retired. So is Kamara Racer in the pit lane, and Crush Your T is retired on the track, and that is a very dangerous stuff indeed, because that could, I think B Rabbit is off. B Rabbit is invalidated, and I think he might have been put off there by the Ferrari, and that is him done and dusted in this qualifying. The championship leader is not going to be able to improve on P18 in this session. Reflection and Kaz are in the pit lane, so they're not going to be able to beat his time. It's going to be P18 there for B Rabbit. The championship leader there is down in P18 there for the start of the sprint event, and that is his qualifying ruined there, I think. I'm not quite sure what happened. If it was because he was unsighted by that Ferrari, I'm not sure. But nonetheless, there Tango there takes us away there to start off another lap. Dylan is on the back straight. We'll come back to him. Here comes Jenna there to start off another lap too. Craig are going through the S's. And McConey is coming through as well. I think he needs to try and get himself round to start off his next flying lap. We'll come back to that because Beast is coming through Sector 3, I should say, in that lovely Ferrari as well. And around the next corner as well to finish off the last few corners there, the last few stretches of this qualifying session as well, because this is the checker flag has fallen now. Mr. Elite is going to be no higher than P11 there. Unfortunately for him, Beast has unfortunately invalidated as well on the final attempt as well. So that is him into the pit lane there, into the wall as well on the pit entry. You need to watch out for that because that is pretty dangerous indeed. Right then, I think that was there's a slow Aston Martin, and that is Tango. He's invalidated his time. He's going to be finished. He's not going to be finished. He's finished in qualifying, that is, but he's going to be starting no higher than P2 as it stands there. Kaz is looking strong indeed there for another pole position here. So we've had some other changes down the order, but we'll come back to that one because Kaz there is looking strong here in this qualifying as it stands. Of course, Tango there I think could have improved as well, but it unfortunately couldn't get a final lap in. But that invalidation there has cost him dearly, unfortunately for Tango. But he could still be on the front row of the grid. We'll come back to him as well because we'll have a look at the classifications very shortly. But Kaz there still going as well, looking strong. I didn't see what time he was up, if he was up at all on his time in the into Sector 3, but we'll have to finish off this lap then for the McLaren driver. Dylan there stays P3, Mumford in P4, Kamara P5, Jenna there into P6. Good stuff from him. Sweet MP there in P7 as well. Well done to him. But let's see what Kaz can do. Can he get himself even further in front on pole position? But I think he's going to be Garrett. No, he's invalidated on the final corner. Now it's down to McConey. McConey's having a bit of a problem there as well, trying to get in the pit lane. And I think that is qualified, done and dusted there. Unfortunately for those drivers there, V Todd is coming round into the final corner now to finish off his flying lap as well. And we'll see what he can do, but unfortunately I think that is he's not going to be on a very fast lap. He's 30 seconds down on his time, so that is not fast enough then. Unfortunately, that is qualifying done and dusted. Kaz is on pole position then for the USA Grand Prix, or the sprint event I should say. He might be on pole position there for the Grand Prix as well. We'll have to wait and see how the sprint unfolds, but pole position then for the sprint. Of course, the sprint order, or the classification of the sprint order, will determine the starting grid for the feature race as well. So there we go then. Kaz there on pole position then by just over 2 or just under 2 tenths of a second. Then of course Tango didn't get his second or his final run in, stays P2. Dylan in P3, both the championship protagonists there. Tango and Dylan there looking strong in qualifying. Mumford in P4, Kamara in P5, Jinner in P6, Sweet P in P7. Craig R in P8 then, McConey P9, B Rabbit then, he did get a time in somehow, in P10, Farf in P11 there, Dopey Lemons in P12, Beast in P13, Mr. Elite P14, V Todd P15, Gordo in P16, Sick as Muck P17, Crush Your T P18, Reflection, and Kaz unfortunately didn't get a time in on the board.
BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
Right, then we are back. Then the title race is on. The title fight is on here in silver. And we're just going around the formation app to start off the sprint event here in the US of A. Let's have a look at the tyre compounds. Everybody is on the mediums apart from 3. And that is Kaz. They're on the hards in P20. They're soft compound tyres for Gordo in P16. And the same soft compound tyres for Beast in P13. So they're looking to hopefully get some moves made in the opening stages of this sprint event. Of course, only 10 laps here in the sprint. So it's going to be a very quick, very short and very fast shootout then for this 10 laps, trying to get into the top 8. Of course, top 8 score in this one. There is no fastest lap point as well. So it's the top 8 that score from P1, who scores 8 points, all the way down to P8, who scores 1 point. And that, of course, was changed. It was originally just the top 3 who scored in the sprint event, which kind of made it not really worth taking part if you're in the sort of bottom half of the order then, especially in real life F1. But there we go. So that is the order then for the qualifying, or from the qualifying, I should say, for the start of this sprint event. B Rabbit, the championship contender, the championship leader, the man who could wrap up the championship driver's title tonight, is in P10. He's going to have to get himself into the points quickly, because his challengers, Tango and Dylan, are in P2 and P3 respectively. So it's looking good indeed for those two to take the fight as it stands towards the next race, which of course is Mexico in a week's time here in silver. And there we go, then we are lining up on the grid, ready to get ourselves underway for the start of this sprint event here. The second of a sprint event, of course. We had a sprint in Qatar last week, and now back-to-back sprints. This is the double feature then of the sprint event, and we can get ourselves lined up on the grid for the start of this sprint race. Hopefully I can get a better angle than this. Better angle than this. Come on. No, not quite. We're going to have to stick with what we've got, I think, unfortunately. Just waiting for the lot drivers to get themselves lined up onto the grid. I think we're lined up on the grid, are we? There we go then. There we go. We're waiting for the order to change, and we can get ourselves ready to get going here in the sprint event. The revs are on. The lights are out. And away we go then for the sprint event here in the US of A, up towards the turn 1, then up the hill towards turn 1, and Tango is trying to get himself down the inside there of Kaz into P1. There goes the Aston Martin there, cutting the corner a bit there and trying to shove the McLaren out wide. There's contact in the background there between Farf and Craig R, I think, off the baff in the background, unfortunately for those two. And now into the S's we go. Tango takes the lead of the Grand Prix, or of the sprint event, I should say. The Grand Prix is yet to come in the next 10 laps or so. The Grand Prix will be unfolding, but there you go, Tango into the lead of the Grand Prix of the sprint. Kaz there down to P2, unfortunately for him. We'll have a look at the position changes as well. Dylan stays P3, so does the rest of the top 7. Then they all stay in their positions there. Mr. Elite's up 6 places. Sweet P has got himself through there on Kamara Racer, then somehow and up into P5. Good stuff indeed from him. Unfortunately, there's a few movers and shakers there. Both the Rebels are on fire here. Look at that. 8 places for Gordo, 5 places for Mr. Elite. Jinner and Kamara Racer down the back straight, battling away side by side and sticking their elbows out. out as well. It looks like it's in down towards the heavy braking zone. Then can the Red Bulls try and capitalize? Then on the inside goes Mr. Elite, then up into P7. Great stuff indeed from the Red Bull driver. They're looking to try and get his season back on track after a few difficult races. And now Gordo is trying to put pressure on Kamara. Race has been moved off the track there slightly by the Aston Martin. But nonetheless, he's still going in this one. B-Rabbit stays P10. He's started P10, of course, as well. At the top of the order, then Tango takes the lead there into turn one there, and Kaz has to drop back and has to try and think about what is going to be his next move, I suppose you could say. Dylan there stays with the top two, as does Mumford. Yellow flags in the background. It's for Gordo. Gordo's had a problem there at the exit of the penultimate turn there. He's off the circuit there, and Gordo's start, unfortunately, it was looking so good, is down to the back of the field, unfortunately, for the Red Bull driver. Into the pits comes Kamara Racer then. He's called it a day already on those medium compound tyres. Unfortunately for Kamara Racer, maybe he's got some damage there into turn one there on that first lap there. VTOD and Crusher T switching places as well. VTOD up to 12th, and there we go. The timing is not correct there on that screen, so just bear with us whilst we go through this lap. That will be redone, resorted by Codemasters hopefully when we finish off lap 2, but they are not 1 minute and 36 seconds between them. They have only got a few tenths between them in there, as you can see in that shot as well, down towards the hairpin there of the, into sector 2 there, onto the back straight as well. Now, of course, DRS not available until lap 3, or the beginning of lap 3, that is, but I don't think Kaz is going to be too worried about that. He wants to try and make a move. I think here he's going to be all over the back of the Aston Martin now. Oh, there's contact between the two of them there. What is going on there? Tango seems to come across there and try and push the McLaren further off the track. There's a bit of, I think that was a warning there for Tango. They're going off the out of the white lines there as well, and these two are really fighting tooth and nail there for the lead of the sprint event here. Tango has to take the avoiding action, I think there. Has to slot in behind there in P2, but now all over the back there of the McLaren as well. They're down towards the end of the second lap here of the sprint. And blimey, it's been action-packed there. The top four have really got themselves moving, haven't they? There's a massive gap between the McLaren of Mumford down to Sweet MJP there. As Tango goes a bit wide there, Dylan now has the door open, I think, then for potentially taking hold of that P2. Can he up towards turn one once again onto lap 3? DRS now available, of course. And on the inside there, Dylan there has to stick his nose in there. He has to try, but he doesn't have the momentum then to take the position, unfortunately, from Tango, who is now stays in P2, then trying to get himself back after Kaz as well to take back the lead. Jenner is all over the back of 300p. Then these two are almost in a fight of their own at the moment, because Mr. Elite is struggling to keep up at this stage. He's up 7 places. Mr. Elite is looking good indeed. B-Rabbit has got himself up into 8th place. That is a point coming his way, and Jenner has just got a 3-second penalty. That is bad news for Jenner. That will demote him out of the top 8. And that will cost him any points in the sprint event as it stands, of course, that is. He, of course, can build up a 3-second gap then and try and stay in the points, that is. But he has to try and go a bit faster, unfortunately, for him. So that is that. Tango now all over the back of Kaz once again, then going to go down the inside, then in towards the next turn. Then he's got the inside. He's got the move covered off, I think, there. And he has got the lead back of the sprint as well. Great stuff indeed from Tango. He's gone purple, of course, in Sector 2. He has got the DRS there to improve that pace down the back straight as well. Mr. Elite has got himself past Jenner as well. Jenner's had a problem there. I think as SweetMJP has had a problem as well, actually. It's SweetMJP who's had a problem there. He's got front wing damage. The front wing flying off there. You've got debris on the circuit. Is that going to be a VSC or a safety car? It's not going to be anything, unfortunately, at this stage. Oh, and he's been sandwiched between the Alpha Tauris as well. Then Sickers, Muck and Craig are trying to take advantage there of the Williams off the circuit. And with that wing damage as well, he's had to try and get himself out of the way. And he's trying to get himself out of the way of Kaz as well coming through. Unfortunately for him, Jinner is in the pit lane. Jinner is in the pit lane. What's happened to Jinner? He's had a problem there. B-Rabbit is in the pit lane as well. He's had contact, I think, there with some of the somebody else on the circuit. Into the pits comes Sweet MJP as well. And I'm not quite sure what's happened there. It seemed to be a collision between Sweet MJP and Jinner potentially that has caused all of this carnage there as well. The championship leader there is going to be down into P20 as it stands as well. Kamara, I think, is going to come through. He has got the fastest lap as well. Good stuff from him. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not going to be P20, of course, because he did come in the pit lane before Sweet MJP there. But down into P19 there for B-Rabbit there. That is not what his championship needs, of course, with Tango currently leading the race of this sprint event. 10 laps, of course, in the sprint. We're on to lap 4, so there's going to be 6 laps to go at the end of this one. Yellow flags. It's for Gordo. Gordo's had a problem there into sector 2. He's got himself back underway. There's no damage there on the Red Bull, thankfully. But unfortunately, there for Gordo, he's not had a great start to the sprint event. Well, he had a great start indeed, actually. He was up into the points paying positions, but he's had a spin and since dropped down there. Unfortunately, McConey's got himself past Dopey Lemons there into P6, trying to cover off the move there down the inside there of the Alfa Romeo. He's got the move into P6 there, done and dusted. Oh, a bit squirrely there for Dopey Lemons there, and now it's opened the door for Beast to go down the inside there. Can he hold the move? He has held the move. He's got the move done. Very good stuff indeed there from Ultimate Beast to get himself up into P7. Now he needs to try and push on there on those soft compound tyres and get himself after McConey, but on yellow flags again for Gordo. Gordo's had another problem there at the exit. Where is that? I think that's on traction there at the end of the straight. Unfortunately for Gordo, he's had a horrible time so far. Sweet MJP as well has had a horrible time, but he's got himself back underway. B Rabbit is going to be, unfortunately, I think that's going to be he's going to be maybe potentially going to be a catch up to Jinner potentially, but I don't think he's going to be starting any higher than P16 as it stands. Reflection getting down the inside there of Crustia T, and I think he's got the move done, has he? Or Crustia T trying to hold it around the outside, then he seems to have held it around the outside just about. Then Crustia T, Reflection's got the move though. He's up into P12. Good stuff indeed. Yellow flags again. It's Gordo once again there at the back of the field. He's not having a great time on those soft compound tyres. I'm not sure if they just overheated after all those spins, but he needs to calm the car down, does Gordo, and keep himself on the track. And yeah, that car is definitely trying to get away from him, isn't it, as he tries to get himself round the final turn. Kaz now looking to take the lead back here on Tango down the back straight with DRS available in the McLaren there down the outside and around the outside, I should say. Can he hold it? That is the question. And now Tango now just getting the squeeze on as well there for the McLaren. They're making sure he doesn't get any easy passes here in this sprint event. There, Gordo is once again off the circuit then, and I'm not quite sure what is going on for Gordo there. He's really struggling out there, unfortunately for the Red Bull driver who had a great start in this sprint event. Then Kaz couldn't take the lead of the Grand Prix of the sprint into the sector 3. He has to sit behind that Aston Martin once again, unfortunately for him. So he just needs to bide his time then. Of course, there's still a few laps to go. We're only halfway through this sprint, and it's been epic so far. The top 4 have really split off into the distance there. Mr. Elite up 9 places there into P5. He's on a bit of a no man's land as it stands, because he's now 3 seconds behind this top 4 pack and 2.5 seconds ahead of McConey there in P6 as it stands, that is. Of course, this may change. Evening all to Serious Mushroom. I think Gordo might have been struggling with rear wing damage yet, so that is why he's been having so many issues there for Gordo then. Unfortunately, Gordo there will have to, I think he can retire the car, of course, if he's got video evidence or footage, that is, of his rear wing damage, and of course that proof will be enough to, of course, warrant the pit and quit, that is, technically. But of course, it is, if you've got rear wing damage and the car is undrivable, as Gordo is facing, it seems, then with the footage, that will clear you of any wrongdoing, of course. But there we go then. Here comes Kaz there for the lead of the sprint event. They're down towards the heavy braking zone then, and Tango has switched back then, and he's lost the traction there, and that could open the door then for Dylan as well. Down the inside goes Tango there. Kaz trying to hold it around the outside. I think there was just a bit of loss of traction there for the Aston Martin, and they're switching around then into sector 3, and Tango's still in the lead of the Grand Prix, but now Kaz, I think, has got the inside for the long right-hander. And he's going to hold on to the lead now, but Tango is pushing him through the corner there. Look at that. And Tango is he's lost the lead, but he's not giving up on this one for sure. Yellow flags again, I think, for Gordo in the pit lane now, as he's got himself back to the pits there. Kaz has taken the lead there, but the epic battling between the Aston Martin and the McLaren really was looking good indeed there. Here comes Tango once again, trying to go down the inside of turn 1. He's got the move done with the DRS assistance there, but Kaz again this time switches back on the Aston Martin. It's roles reversed here in lap 7 as Gordo retires in the pits, I think. Then as through the S's, we're going to go side by side. That was close indeed. I think Kaz thought better of it there and backed out. Was very wise indeed from the McLaren driver, as I think that could have gone very, very badly indeed. But great battle so far. The top 4 all sticking together now. They're pulling a gap now on Mr. Elite. Well, actually, they're not. It was 3.4 seconds. It's now 2.8. Mr. Elite is actually pulling that gap down as the fighting goes on between the top four, between the top two, really, then the Mr. Elite there in the Red Bull, they're right behind. You can see in shot now is gaining and gaining. Here comes Kaz once again. He's gaining and gaining on the back of the Aston Martin. They're looking to go down the inside, then into the end of the straight. Gino picks up another 3-second battle. Here comes Tango again on the switch back there, trying to do the same thing as he did on the last lap, but he can't hold on to it this time. I think Kaz has got the precedent now. Trying to turn in there was Tango there on the McLaren as well. Oh, he's lost a bit of traction there. That could open the door for Dylan once again. Then can Dylan go down the inside here? He has thought twice about it then. I thought he was going to go for it then, but he just backed out at the last minute. But Tango there is he's not going to give up right away. I think Dylan is just waiting in the wings there. Same for Mumford as well, waiting for something to happen for the top two. A potential slip up, a potential mistake then, and that will open the door then for them to come through and potentially take the win as well. Down the main straight we go. We're starting lap 8. There is 3 laps to go here in the US of A for the sprint event. That is, of course, the feature race, the actual Grand Prix, will be up next. And the order will be determined by the finishing points, or finishing positions, I should say, of the sprint as well. So currently, Kaz will take that pole position then for the Grand Prix in just a few minutes' time. Was a cracking start, says Gordo. Yes, it was. You were up in, well, I think it was up 8 places at one point. Both you and your teammate were flying up into the points paying positions. Currently, Mr. Elite is holding on to that P5 as well, looking comfortable as well at this stage, with a nice gap of 2 seconds behind to the McConey in the Williams. But we'll have to wait and see if that gap starts coming down, and McConey could get himself promoted up the order. He, of course, finished, I think he finished 8th in the sprint after starting P20 in Qatar last week. Kaz has got himself a nice little gap there, a bit more of a gap than this time for the McLaren. And just looking to cover off Tango there into Sector 3 we go. So, like I said, it's calmed down a bit now between the top 4. They've decided not to fight every lap. So they're just going to try and buy their time. Sickers, Muck and Reflection switching places as well down into P11. Down up to P11, I should say, goes the AlphaTauri there. Reflection down to P12, but he still gained 7 places there from his starting spot on the grid. So that is not a doom and gloom there for him. Jinner and Crusty T battling away then into Sector 3 as well. There's an Aston Martin off the circuit there, and he's that Kamara Racer just trying to regain control of the Aston Martin as he's got himself sorted now. But I think, again, on the traction zone, I think that's where we saw Gordo have a problem as well. Sweet MJP picks up a 3-second penalty as well. That is bad news for him. But there's still some fighting going on down the back of the order. We'll come back to that battle, because here is the battle for the lead. We're on to lap 9, the penultimate lap of this sprint. And Tango is still sitting behind that McLaren there. There's 2 McLarens there in this fight in the top 4 then. And Dylan is sandwiched in between them. So is the Aston Martin currently of a Tango. So there we go then. Kaz has got himself past his team. Jinder has got himself past his teammate Kaz into turn 1 then. And up the hill into P14 goes the lead car, I should say now. Unfortunately, both of them have had a bit of a troubled sprint event at this stage. Kamara Racer as well is trying to cling on to the back here. B Rabbit then is down into P18, the championship leader that could have won the title here tonight. He is going to have to win the feature race, win the Grand Prix next, and hope that Tango and Dylan struggle in the Grand Prix in 29 laps to come in this session, in the next session, I should say. So he's going to have a fight on his hands, literally, this time. And it doesn't seem like the title wants to be claimed here in the US of A as it stands. That is, of course, Farf and Beast battling away there. Down the inside goes Farf there. Those soft compound tyres for Beast might be struggling at this stage. We'll have a look at the tyres because we can see here there's 8 laps there on the softs. And I think they might be getting towards the end of their best life there for Ultimate Beast. The same for, or not the same for Jinner and for 300p. Of course, they picked under the, pit a few laps into the sprint because they had damage there to replace their front wings, etc. But Beast there, I think, might start to struggle then on those soft compound tyres, and that might be the end of his challenge there for the points as well. He's down into P9 currently. He is only 1 position away then from a point here in this sprint event, but I think those softs now are struggling. You can see V Todd now trying to gain onto the back of the Ferrari then. We're on the final lap then of the sprint event now, and this is it then. This is where it is going to get dicey indeed. Has Tango got enough? Has he got himself has he got himself close enough to try and challenge down the back straight there for the lead of this sprint event there? Kamara gets himself past Kaz as Tango now down towards the next hairpin there, which is where we lead on to the straight then. There's a move in the background, I think there. Dylan's had a problem there, has he? What's happened to Dylan there? Oh, I think maybe trying to play a bit of tactical mind games there with Mumford, and he might have the DRS DRS to play with then down the straight as Jenner is retired there on the through the S's there, unfortunately for Jenner. They're not quite sure what happened to him there. Sorry, Dylan there has not got DRS there. Tango trying to fight for the lead and unfortunately can't get himself through there. So it looks like Kaz, unless there's any incidents there in the next sector, that Kaz might claim the sprint victory here in the USA. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what happened to Jenner then. He's had a bit of a problem there in the S's section. I think Kamara has been claimed by that as well. Yeah, he seems to be trying to spin himself around there. Does Kamara through the long right-hander, and Tango has not given up right away, has he? He's still on the fight here into the last corner. Can he make a late move? He's going to try and look to the inside, but he has to. I don't think he has to. He can't risk it there, can he? He's got 7 points on the board there. Kaz takes the win here in the sprint event there. Fantastic stuff indeed there. Tango does get P2 in the end. Dylan unfortunately loses out. It's a McLaren 1-3 with Mumford there in P3. Dylan in P4, Mr. Elite in a very good P5 indeed. McConey P6 there, Dopey Lemons in P7. Favre does get the final point of the sprint event there in P8 there. Beast in P9. I'm not quite sure what happened to is V Todd there. V Todd's had a problem as well, as unfortunately he was in P10 at the moment at one stage, but on that final lap, but unfortunately is finishing P11 there with Sick as Muck there in P10. Reflection P12, Craig R P13, B Rabbit there up to P14 in the end, having to try and recover then after some sort of damage there in the first few laps then. Kaz in P15, Crushed Your T P16, Sweet MJP there in P17, and we're waiting for Kamara Racer to get himself back to the finish line then. But Kaz there takes the win in the sprint there after a 10-lap battle with Tango. Throughout the whole thing, they were battling almost side by side for most of it as well, to be honest. And it was great battling indeed. There was a bit of a argy-bargy through some of it, but they kept themselves on the track and they kept themselves in the race as well. But there we go. Kaz takes the 8 points then for the sprint event win. And Tango there in P2 there gets 7 points for himself. Thankfully, from his point of view, Tango and B Rabbit didn't score any points there in that sprint event, which means that he edges himself closer to the championship leader. But of course, there's still quite a bit of a gap. I think it's 78 points based on my math. 78 points now is the difference between B Rabbit there and Tango. So of course, 112 points available after this round, and of course, we've still got the Grand Prix itself to come as well. So there we go. That is your classification then for the sprint event. Then Tango in P2. Kaz, of course, wins the sprint from pole position as well. Mumford in P3 in the end, overtaking Dylan on the final lap there. Dylan in P4, Mr. Elite P5, McConey P6, Dopey Lemons P7, Favre in P8 there in the final points pen position then as well from P11. Beast in P9 there on the soft compound tires. Didn't quite work out for him, unfortunately. Stickers Muck in P10, V Todd in P11, Reflection P12, Craig R P13, B Rabbit then having to recover there after a pit stop and some damage there into P14, Kaz in P15, Crush Your T P16, Sweet MJP in P17, Kamara in P18, and Jinner I think in P19 as well.
BoxBox Hub is an absolute essential for any Formula One fan, and the entire app with new widgets, statistics, localized race schedules, and countdowns, you name it. They even have support for Apple's new live activities feature with real-time updates during a race right on the lock screen, and honestly, some of the best looking widgets I've seen.
There we go then. If you haven't already, check out BoxBox. Link in the description. There is a discount then for ALR drivers, ALR racers, ALR fans. So get yourself involved with BoxBox. Everything you need for F1, all the updates, all the widgets, everything you need on your phone for F1 is on BoxBox. So get yourself checked into that one and sign yourself up there. To our sponsor, of course, powered by BoxBox. And of course, you saw from the title fight there, we have still got the title fight on. It has not been finished by the sprint. It is still on in the US of A. Then, of course, we'll have to go through the tire commands very shortly. But B Rabbit then, as Percy has tried to correct me. Unfortunately, Percy, I'm going to have to correct you because it is 78 points is the gap now, not 88. It's 78. It's now down to 78 there for Tango, who has, of course, limited the points that, of course, that is available for B Rabbit as well. So now it is 70, like I said, 78 points. Of course, if Tango can win the feature event, that will come down to 53. Of course, if B Rabbit doesn't score as well, that is. But currently he's outside the top 10 as well. So that is standing at the moment. The way it's going to change, currently with 18 points as well, it will be a 60-point gap then between B Rabbit and Tango as it stands there. Dylan, of course, has scored himself some points as well in the sprint event, but I can't work out the maths, unfortunately, so quickly there for that one. But he is still in the fight as well, is Dylan. Right then, we'll take you through the tire compounds because this is one hell of a strategy conundrum, I should say, as it looks like Kaz there on the soft compound tires in the lead of this race is going to try and go and create that gap massively as quickly as possible in the first stint. So is Mr. Elite in P5 then, and Kaz in P15, all on the soft compound tires. 3 drivers on the softs there. McConey in the Williams there in P6 on the mediums, as is Beast in P9 and Sicker's Mark P10, Reflection in P12 and Crusty T P16 then, and the bottom two, unfortunately, Jinner and Gordo, who had a bit of trouble on their opening, or on their sprint events, I should say. But there we go then. And now the rest of the field there, Tango, Mumford and Dylan there, P2 down to P4 on the hard compound tyres, Dopey Lemons in P7 and Farf on the hards as well in P8 then, V-Todd on the hards in P11 and Craigar, B Rabbit there also on the hard compound tyres, as is Sweet and Japan Kamara Racers. There's quite a split in strategy here in the US of A. And we'll have to get ourselves... I can't believe this camera angle was the best camera angle. Come on, Codemaster, sort me out. So there we go then. Right, we'll ride on board with Tango then from the start of this one, as the 5 red lights are going to be coming on here for the feature event then, and we're going to get racing now, and away we go then up towards turn 1 then. Kaz, of course, is going to get a great start on those soft compound tyres. Dylan's already got himself up into P3 ahead of Mumford there. As we go into turn 1, is there going to be any contact? It looks like they've got themselves through okay at the top of the order, that is. Around the back of the field, there's an Alpine off the circuit. Then Dopey Lemons gets himself up into P6, then ahead of McConey now into the S's we go for the first time. 28 laps here in the feature, of course, or the Grand Prix itself. Yellow flags in the background. It's Craigar, who's had another problem there. Unfortunately, he's had a difficult time there on both the opening starts there of this race, on this event, I should say. But there we go then. Tango there stays in P2 there. But look at the gap already there. Kaz is trying to pull that gap out to over 1 second within the first 2 laps, of course, because DRS is not available until as down the inside goes Mr. Elite as well on the soft compound tyres on Mumford as well. Mumford dead down 2 places there after Dylan got himself through on the start as well. And up into P4 goes Mr. Elite there with a great start indeed. Now trying to trace after the top 3 as well. But like I was saying, this is going to be one hell of a battle there. Of course, they're going to take their time in this one as well. It's a much longer race, almost 2/3 of the distance, once again, on top of the sprint, of course. B Rabbit on a mission, says Serious Mushroom. Then B Rabbit has got himself up into the top 10 already there on the opening lap then. So that is looking promising indeed for his charge. Kaz and Sicker's Muck switching places, as is Jinner. Jinner's involved in this as a sandwich between the Hasses and the Alpha Tauri. Jinner has got himself up into P16 there, up 3 places there from the start, as has Kamara Racer as well, who have they both struggled there on the as Jinner has lost out again, sorry, to Sicker's Muck there. He's got left end plate damage there. Oh, and he's coming back on the circuit. What is going on there for Jinner? He's lost the whole of the front wing there with that. And he's thankfully got himself back to the pit lane. Unfortunately, he's had a bit of a problem there trying to get himself through. as is Crushed T as well. Crushed T has got himself back to the pits also as well. The gap, again, is not 1 minute and 35 seconds. It's over only a couple of tenths, I should say. Or it's a bit more than a couple of tenths now between Kaz and Tango, actually. They have really been pushing hard there on this opening lap. Then look at that on the soft compound tyres. You can see the difference there between the softs and the hards. In one lap there, Kaz has already got himself, I'd say, probably over a second gap already. But we do expect the soft compound tyres to drop off a lot quicker than the hard compound tyres. As some of you seasoned F1 veterans might know, the softs don't last as long, but they are very quick indeed. And a lot quicker than the hard compound tyres, but only over a few laps then. So we'll have to wait and see how it's going to switch back then in the favour of Tango and Dylan, of course, and Mumford, who is in P5 then, and a few more on the hard compound tyres further down the order as well. Let's go on to the tyre compound so we can see. Hopefully the timing graphic can sort itself out very quickly indeed so we can see what's going on in terms of the gaps there. But I don't think Tango is in that range there for the DRS to be available for the Aston Martin as we start off, or finish off lap 2, then start off lap 3. I think he's unfortunately a bit too far back there. Kaz and Sick as much switching places as well. Down the order then into the final turn then for Cass to finish off the lap 2, and sets the fastest lap as well, just to go with it as well. 1.2 seconds is the gap there, but Dylan is not in DRS range there of Tango either as well, so that is interesting stuff indeed. Then of course they want to try and stick together as much as they can, although they're championship rivals, then they can use themselves to pull each other along in this one. But there we go. Mr. Elite actually struggling to hold on to the top three's pace there on the soft compound tyres. Dopey Lemons has got himself up into P6 there. Farf, McConey and B-Rabbit then are all in this fight as well. B-Rabbit all over the back now of the Williams driver on his first full-time appearance. Yellow flags. It's for an AlphaTauri. It's Kaz and Craigar. Craigar and Kaz have had a problem there at the exit, or Kaz has been disqualified for going the wrong way. So that's him out of the race, unfortunately, for Kaz. I should say there's one Kaz and there's two Casses. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Craigar's got himself back underway, thankfully. And Kaz has been disqualified from this race for going the wrong direction. So I'm not quite sure if the game's been a bit unfair on him there, because he's been sort of basically been given a punishment there for just trying to turn the car around. But there we go then. Every time you say Kaz, I'm like, what? So it says Serious Mushroom. It's, yeah, like I was saying, it's confusing the hell out of me as well, don't you worry. But unfortunately for one Kaz, they've been disqualified, and the other Kaz is leading the Grand Prix. So we'll have to stick with the one that's still in the race then. Currently, he's 1.2 seconds ahead there of Tango there. But the gap, sorry. Oh, God. Not sure if I've got a problem there. Getting a cough or something, but yeah, the gap there has it's quite steady actually at the moment. You would have thought the soft compound tyres would try and blitz away there compared to the hards, but he's trying to stay with him very nicely indeed, is Tango. And of course, in a few laps or so, you expect the soft compound tyres to really not be the best tyre to be on, unfortunately, after they have died out. Then, so that will be coming back into Tango and Dylan's favour there very shortly, I think. Let's get the telemetry up as well so we can see what their ERS levels are. And Tango, of course, is burning a bit more ERS, trying to keep up with the McLaren at this stage of the race. But of course, the McLaren of Cass is just trying to keep the tyre life as long as possible there in those soft compound tyres, so that he can go as far into this stint as possible as well, whilst keeping the pace, that is, as well. It's a very difficult combination. They're all trying to manage the tyres as well now, to try and make sure they don't wear them out too much, and can get to their required pit stop lap as well. But now Mr. Elite has dropped off the back there of the top three then. Mumford is now in DRS range there with those hard compound tyres. So now the hard runners are starting to phase into this race, only 4 laps in, or 5 laps in when we finish this one. And Dylan there locking up there into the hairpin there of the end at the end of the back straight. And he's got himself very comfortably there, almost within that 1 second window as well of the Aston Martin ahead of him of Tango. He wants to get himself in that 1 second window. That can help him recover some energy as well, save some fuel, and bide his time to the end of the race, or to the next stint, to the middle part of this race, when they will probably be looking to pit, I would imagine. I'm not quite sure what the strategy is going to be, because there's all sorts of strategies so far in this race. Softs, mediums and hards all over the place. But we will find out. Kaz has retired and left the session, but he was already disqualified on my screen, so I'm not quite sure what is going on for him. But there we go. Then Mr. Elite, sorry, is dropped off the back a lot more than those soft compound tires. I think might be starting to struggle there. Here comes Mumford there on the back of the Red Bull there into turn one. No moves being made, but I think it's only a matter of time before that McLaren is past that Red Bull very soon as well. Vitold and Kamara Racer switching places. They're down the order, and up into P14 goes the Aston Martin, then past the Alpine into turn one with the DRS assistance as well. Right, and I think we'll stick with this battle because I think there's going to be an overtake here for Mumford very soon. If it's on the back straight, I think it will be. Farver's picked up the first penalty there of the Grand Prix, as that is going to cost him at the moment. It's going to cost him a place in the top 10. As it stands, of course, we're going to have a lot more racing still to go than we had in the sprint. We're only halfway through the sprint technically at this stage, but we've got a few more laps to do here tonight in the Grand Prix itself. Here comes Mumford. They're down the back straight. He's going to get himself past Mr. Elite. Then is he? He's got the move. He's down the inside. Then the McLaren up into P4. There, Mr. Elite not fighting this one. He is fighting this one as hard as possible, it looks like, to try and get that place back, or keep that place, I should say, as we go into Sector 3 now. He's going to come under pressure there from Dopey Lemons there. Now down the inside, yellow flags there for a Ferrari of Crustier T, and Crustier T's had a problem as well. Mr. Elite and Dopey Lemons still battling away through Sector 3, and now I think Dopey Lemons has got the inside there on the move there. He's got the move there, has the Alfa Romeo, and up into P5 as well. Crustier T's having a problem there, trying to get himself back underway. But he has done, finally. But there we go then. Mr. Elite there has dropped out. Oh, there's contact there, I think, between himself and Dopey Lemons there. That might open the door now for Farf. And Farf is going to try and get himself through there. Mr. Elite is burning a lot of energy there to try and keep himself going, as Crustier T is having a bit of trouble there. He needs to make sure he doesn't retire on track, because he can cause an unnecessary safety car, and that is very much frowned upon indeed. Right, there's an Alpine all over the back of a Red Bull there, but the Red Bull is still clinging on to the hard runners there of Dopey Lemons there and Mumford as well. The top three have really sort of split off in the distance there. They're not within DRS ranges of each other though. As it stands, the yellow flags again for Crustier T, as Tango, I think, could he get himself in the DRS range here? Tango is getting closer. He's getting closer. I think he's in that 1 second, the very nice 1 second window there for the Aston Martin, that is. He's in that 1 second window there to get himself pulled along now, while the DRS, they're down this back straight, and it is a long back straight as well. This is going to be very useful indeed there for Tango to get himself into the fight then for the lead of this race. Kaz has nothing to fight with as it stands, but of course I don't think Tango's going to lunge in from there. He's going to try and stay with on the back there of the McLaren as quickly as possible, so that he can of course get himself pulled along. McConey has got himself round the inside, down the inside. There's contact with the Williams there. I think McConey went flying into that turn down the inside then, and there was two cars on the outside of him as well. Crustier T has retired in the pit lane. That's Kaz and Crustier T out of this race already on lap 6 then. And that is, like I said, not going to be going down very well for them, getting a full-time seat, unfortunately, if they're struggling to finish the race, which is, yeah, like I said, it's the first sort of rule, really, isn't it? Just keep yourself going and get to the end of the race is the most important thing. Tango there is still within that DRS range. Yellow flags, I think, are fluttering for the Ferrari there. Hopefully that is not a Ferrari that's going to come out onto the track and ruin people's races. And there is a ghost car, thankfully, as hopefully Tango's realised that. He didn't seem to realise that until the last minute there. Mr. Elite has been passed by B-Rabbit. Now up into P7 goes the Mercedes driver. Of course, the championship protagonist, the championship leader, he's only 4 places behind his rivals then, or 4 places behind Dylan there in P3 of the standings, and of course P3 in this race, and P2 of Tango in P2 of this race as well. Yellow flags are fluttering all over the place then. I think it's just the Ferrari hopefully getting out of the way. It has got out of the way now. Tango's dropped back out of that DRS range of the McLaren there, so maybe some ERS being burnt then by the McLaren driver to try and get that gap back over that 1 second window. Dopey Lemons is now all over the back of Mumford as well. He's going to have a nice little toe down the back straight. Farf has got himself past, he's up into P6 I should say, but B-Rabbit now in the DRS is going to try and make a move there for the lead, or for the position I should say, not for the lead, not just yet anyway. Dopey Lemons is making a move though. He's up the inside there of the McLaren of Mumford and up into P4 then. Both the Alfa Romeos looking strong so far in this race as well. Good stuff from them. B-Rabbit is now all over the back there of Farf, who is going to be put under pressure there from the championship leader. He wants to claim the title here tonight, doesn't he? But of course, it's not going his way as it stands. As it stands, his championship rivals there have already outscored him in the sprint event, and they're currently outscoring him here as well in the Grand Prix itself. So it's not going B-Rabbit's way just yet. Of course, there's still races to come. There's 112 points on offer in the next 4 races as well. But of course, he wants to win it tonight. So there we go. Farf, I think, might have just got himself. No, he didn't quite get himself in the DRS range there. So B-Rabbit now might make a move up into turn 1. Can he make a lunge on the Alpine there? Down the inside, up the inside, round the outside? Who knows? But he can't make the move there. Gordo's got himself past Mr. Elite there. Mr. Elite, I think, struggling now on the soft compound tyres. Reflection and Marconi are switching places as well. Up into P11 goes the Mercedes. And down into P12 goes Marconi, unfortunately, for the Williams driver on his first full-time appearance here in gold. Not gold. Silver. We've had gold yesterday. Go and watch that as well. Reflection almost losing the car then. That was a bit dodgy there for the Mercedes driver. That is trying to keep the car under control is the paramount is your paramount sort of paramount task, I suppose you could say, as an F1 driver. Vitor picks up the second penalty of the night. That is unfortunately both the Alpines with a 3-second penalty then in this race there. Vitor there unfortunately having a bit of trouble there down the order in P15 there. B-Rabbit is on the back there of the Alpine of Farf still, but Farf is now within DRS range there of Mumford and Dopey Lemons, and this is good news indeed for Farf to try and get himself pulled along there. McConey's got himself back past the Mercedes of Reflection, and down the inside goes Sweet MJP there on the Mercedes as well there. Could it be a double pass there for the Williams drivers? He's going to go down the inside now into sector 3 there, but I think it could be Sweet MJP that who takes the position here as well. He's going to have the inside line for the next left-hander. And he does have the inside line. I think he's got the move up into P12, I should say. Marconi into P11 as well. Good stuff from the Williams boys. Farf is cooking, says Lucas Percy. That is not one you hear very often, so you can disregard that. That is, yeah. Ominous indeed when you hear that. Beast there looking to try and get a move there on Gordo there. Of course, he's split the 2 Red Bulls now. I think those soft compound tyres there for Mr. Elite are really struggling after a great start indeed. He's now having a bit of trouble there. Swim JP is trying to cover off Reflection, and Kamaro's trying to try and stick his nose in there as well. Is he? Kamaro trying to go around the outside now of the Williams there into the S's. It's going to be tight indeed. He's got the move though up into P12 there, and an opportunistic move indeed as well. 2 places there in the first 2 corners of the lap as well. Great stuff from the Aston Martin driver trying to get himself back into the top 10. Now, up the order there, Dylan unfortunately has dropped off the back of Tango. Look at this. They're the great pace from Tango on those hard compound tyres. He's not been able to catch up to Cass just yet. Cass has still got a 1.2 second gap there as it stands, but Tango is reeling him back in very quickly indeed. Mumford now is dropping off the back there of Dopey Lemons. Farf as well is dropped off the back. He's still within DRS range for the time being there. Beast and Gordo switching places as we go down towards the next hairpin as well. Into P8 goes the Ferrari driver there in that very fantastic livery indeed. And yeah, unfortunately for Gordo there, dropping down the order there, right behind Beast now as well, but hopefully he can get himself pulled along there by the Ferrari car. Mr. Elite, I think, might have to consider making a pit stop very soon, I think, because he's those tyres just not looking good on that Rebel anymore as they did at the start of this race, and unfortunately he's just weaving around there trying to get some heat into the tyres as well. I think they might be getting towards the end of their optimum lifespan, that is. B-Rabbit used to be a Cobalt driver. That is definitely wrong. So I think he raced in, he might have reserved in silver a long time ago, but yeah, he unfortunately, like I said, he didn't race in Cobalt for sure. Well, as far as I know anyway, but I wasn't the admin for Cobalt, so I don't know. So there we go. Tango is still not within that 1 second window. He wants to get himself, I think this is time now where Tango will probably be saying, right, the softs are going to be done by now. I need to get myself in that DRS range and maybe go for the lead of this race as well. But Cass is doing a great job there of defending that 1 second gap there at the moment, to extend or keep the gap at least over that 1 second so that he doesn't have the threat of the Aston Martin with DRS behind him. Farf has still got DRS there on Mumford, but Mumford's dropped out the DRS of Dopey Lemons there. Dopey Lemons looking good indeed as well, but he's got a 3 second gap to the top 3 as it stands. The Alfa Romeos there are scoring some big points here tonight, but they're not going to be I don't think too happy. Of course, Dylan of course wants to try and get some bigger points there to keep the championship fight alive for himself as well. Farf there all over the back of Mumford there. B-Rabbit coming down down the hill towards the Alpine as well, but he's going to have to slot in behind, I think, Vav and Mumford at this stage because he can't get himself through very quickly indeed at this stage of the race, unfortunately for him. Kamara up into P11 there, getting himself past Sweet MJP. And up into, well, just outside the top 10. Oh, I think there's a contact there, was there? Or was there a bit of a tap there from the Williams there into Sector 3 there? He's got himself, what has he got himself? He's got himself composed, that is. I'm not composed, but he's got himself composed as Kamara Racer and back underway there. 1.6 now to the top 10, to the points there for Kamara after the difficult sprint event there for the Aston Martin driver then. Good stuff indeed. Farf now trying to make a move there. Can he make a move there into turn 1 there on the McLaren with DRS as well? Up the hill we go then. He's a bit too far back there to make any lunges there. Geno picks up the third penalty there of the evening down in P18. Unfortunately for Geno, he's having to try and get himself back in this race, as Tango has got himself now in that DRS range, which is perfect for the Aston Martin. This is it. This is where it switches round in his favour, I think, and Tango could be on for a charge now as we go over the crest of the hill there, down towards the hairpin there to get onto the back straight. Of course, there's more DRS there available for the Aston Martin driver if he stays within that 1 second window. Kamara picks up the fourth penalty, unfortunately for Kamara, then into Sector 2. But here comes Tango now. He's got the DRS once again, then he's got some ERS to play with as well, and Kaz, I think they're going to be struggling now on those soft compound tyres as we go down towards the next braking zone, and no moves being made, but now all over the back there of the McLaren there is the Aston Martin. I think this is the switchover point. I think it might have been a couple of laps ago actually, but I think this is the switchover point then for these soft compound tyres. Mumford back in DRS range there of Dopey Lemons, which is going to be helpful for him to fight off Farf and B-Rabbit, who are right behind him now in the DRS range. Gordo's dropped out of that 1 second window there of Ultimate Beast. Unfortunately for Gordo there, he might be thinking about a pit stop as well very soon. Mr. Elite has made a pit stop onto the hard compound tyres. He's down into P16, but he's the first of the scheduled stops to make a stop as well. He's going to be coming through the order very quickly indeed then once those hard compound tyres get fired up here in USA. Scooby Stewart said it's Tang time. It is Tang time. He's going to go for it, is he? No, I was just about to get the end of that battle, hopefully. But no, he stays behind for another lap, or another few corners, I should say. Into the pits comes Beast, Gordo, and Marconi. They're off the medium compound tyres. They've called it a day, but Kaz is still going on the soft compound tyres, which is a pretty good effort indeed. Onto the hards goes Ultimate Beast, I should say. Onto the hards goes Gordo, as does Marconi as well, I think. Yes, he does. He's got a wing change there, has the Williams driver. That is probably why he's not been on his usual pace, on his usual form there for the Williams. But coming out the pit lane now. Right, they'll go back to this battle because this is where it's going to be for the lead of the race here on lap 12. Then DRS available there, ERS available there for Tango there. Down the back straight we go. And there's going to be some, I think there's going to be some elbows out here between Kaz and Tango. But Tango takes the lead down in towards Sector 3. Now, he has the lead very easily as well. I don't think Kaz wanted to fight that one so much because, of course, he knew that Tango on the hard compound tyres was going to have much more grip, much more pace at this stage now compared to him on older soft compound tyres as well. But now Kaz down into P2, I should say. Tango takes the lead of the race now on to lap 12. How far can he go there on those hard compound tyres? Will he go to mediums? Will he go to softs? He has to, of course, use two different compounds in the Grand Prix so long as it stays dry. Kaz almost out of that 1 second window in the first few corners there on the of Sector 3 there. He's coming into the pit lane now, the former race leader into the pits there. He stops on his marks. Well, he gets himself into the pit lane, luckily, without speeding, which is nice. And will we see any more pit stops as well for the likes of Reflection and Sick as Muck as well, down into P3 now, on to the medium compound tyres. So that is interesting there from Kaz. He's going to go to the end, potentially, on those medium compound tyres there. He's going to have a mammoth stint indeed to do, but we'll see what he can do as well. Kaz and has been passed there by Reflection as well. Up into P9 goes Reflection. Gordo picks up a penalty, unfortunately for Gordo. He's pit now for a fresh set of hard compound tyres and can go to the end of the Grand Prix from here, I would imagine. But Reflection takes hold of that P9 there. Kaz down into P10 after making his first, or his only, hopefully, scheduled pit stop. A 5 second lead now for Tango out on those hard compound tyres. That is great stuff indeed for Tango at the moment. He's quite comfortable as it stands, but he wants to, of course, keep an eye on how fast and how far Kaz is going to be going Of course, Kaz there on the medium compound tyres might have some drop-off on tyre performance towards the end of the stint as well, towards the end of this race. And now trying to get himself past Reflection there on the fresher mediums, on the fresher rubber. He's got himself through very easily indeed. And up into P9 now. DRS, of course, available there for Kaz as well. Down towards the beginning of Sector 3 there. Kamara all over the back of Sweet NJP. These two battling might get in the way of Kaz making some progress early through the field as well. That could be pretty costly indeed for the McLaren driver. We'll have to wait and see how quickly he can negotiate through. As is he going to go for a dive down the inside? No, not quite. He has to sit in behind there. Gordo's been passed by Ultimate Beast there around the outside. Where is he going? He's going all over, and he's got the move done as well on Kamara Racer there. The fresher medium compound tyres are flying out here in the USA halfway through this race. Serious Mushroom said, I've been tangoed, so that's bad news. Well, it could be good news, I don't know. So there we go, as here comes Kaz now on Sweet MJP. I think with the DRS going to get himself through very easily there, up into P7, and a bit of clear air in front of him as well now. He's got 7 seconds to B Rabbit there in P6. Of course, B Rabbit, the championship leader, could have wrapped up the title tonight, but currently, as it stands, it's not going to here. It's going to go on to Mexico next week. But I've been tangoed. Tango will go to the mediums. Kaz's hards, says Serious Mushroom. But Kaz has gone on to the medium compound tyres instead of the hard compound tyres. Into the pits comes Reflection there onto a set of hard compounds as well. Down into P17. But of course, there's still quite a few drivers yet to pit in this race. And there might be some more drivers to pit as well. Sweet MJP picks up a 3-second penalty. That is bad news for him. We'll have a look at the penalties in a few laps' time when we get the driver of the day poll out in the comment section. So stay tuned for that one. Mumford is still clinging on to Dopey Lemons for the time being. Yellow fuel light is flashing there for the McLaren driver. That is a bit of a worry there, because we're not quite sure how the fuel might react in this race as well. Farf has done a great job there after looking like he was just clinging on to the back of the pack there. He's got himself very comfortably there in this fight now as well for some big points in the Alpine. And B Rabbit there staying behind very close indeed. But look at the gap there. 4 seconds now to Kaz. And Kaz was 7 seconds a minute ago. I don't know how long I was a minute ago, but it was 7 seconds at one point, and now it's down to 3.6. He's flying through this circuit. There is the McLaren driver, and up into the pits comes Dylan there from P2. Far follows him in as well. So Far and Dylan there going for an early pit stop there from the hard compound tyres. Are they going to go onto the softs, or are they going to go onto the mediums there? A fastest lap there for Kaz, who now is up into P5 after the pit stops there for Dylan and for Farf as well. We'll have to see where they come out, as Kaz now is up into P5 there. 2.8 seconds is the gap, 2.7. It's coming down so quickly indeed there compared to the older hard runners there who have done 15 laps at the end of this one. 15 laps there on those hard compound tyres for the top 4. Of course, Kaz is on 2-lap-old or 3-lap-old at the end of this one as well. 2-lap-old, 3-lap-old medium compound tyres. So it's going to be a bit of a no contest, I don't think. I think for Kaz to try and get himself past, but of course he needs to get himself within that DRS window to pull himself along as well. Dylan has come out in P9 on the medium compound tyres, and we had Farf as well pitting from P5 down into always contact between himself and Sickers Muck. I think they're between the two of them going over the hill, and he's got the position, I think, as Farf there. Of course, DRS will be available there for Sickers Muck, but medium compound tyres there for both of them now. But of course, 14 laps is the difference there on those mediums there between Farf and from the AlphaTauri there. VTOD has been passed by Dylan. Of course, VTOD yet to stop as well. And now now Dylan there up into P8 there. He is approximately, 8 or 9 seconds behind Kaz as it stands. He was a bit closer than that, I think, before the stops there. So we'll have to wait and see who's going to come out on top there. Kaz now in the DRS range there of this battling pack there. 2 of them have gone into the pit lane there. So that is Dopey Lemons in the pits and Mumford as well. Tango staying out there in the lead of this Grand Prix, 9 seconds ahead of B Rabbit as it stands. Kaz now all over the back there of the championship leader there. B Rabbit there is going to have to fight off this McLaren there into turn 1 we go. He's not fighting at all there, and Kaz jumps down the inside, takes P2. Blimey, what a stint. It's going to be, can he get to the end from there, though, is the question there on those medium compound tyres. They're going to be very worn indeed towards the end. Dylan back up into P4, I should say, after the pit stops have been starting to sort themselves out there. Mr. Elite doing well in P5. Of course, he is pit already. And V Todd is yet to pit at this stage. Beast up into P7 there. That'll be a net P6, I think, as well after the stops for V Todd and potentially B Rabbit as well. Net P5 actually for V Todd, for Beast, I should say, with the stops still to come for the drivers ahead of him as well. So that is looking good indeed for the Ferrari driver too. Tango's got to react to this serious mushroom. Does he have to react now, or can he bide his time? Can he wait a couple more laps? He's got a 9.6 second gap as it stands between himself and his race rival of the McLaren Cass, and of course B Rabbit there is in the fight as well, but he's in the fight for the championship of the title, the driver's title. That is, he's not really too worried about where he finishes in this race, so long as he finishes ahead of his rivals. But at the moment he's behind. Well, he's behind one rival who's yet to pit, and Dylan is coming out to the back of him there, 8 seconds behind there, who has pitted onto the medium compound tyres. Mr. Elite is now under pressure there from Beast, as Beast is really fighting there. V Todd has got himself a fight on the cards as well, as down the inside goes far on Gordo, and he's got the move done, I think. Has he? Oh, it's going to go out, trying to go around the outside of his teammate as well. This could be contact. I think there was a bit of contact actually, but they've got themselves okay and got themselves through and back into the fight. Tango is in the pit lane. He's called it a day on the hard compound tyres. He's going to come out ahead of Dopey Lemons, not of Dylan, I should say. Is he? Or is it going to be tight indeed? It's going to be tight indeed. And he's got himself ahead, but Dylan there has done a great job there on the undercut there to get himself within DRS range there of the Aston Martin. And this is what Dylan wanted, of course, because he's done 2 laps more, I should say, on the medium compound tyres than his rival of Tango. But he's got himself back in the DRS range there of the Aston Martin, where he wasn't before the pit stop phases, which is great stuff indeed. Dylan's mastered that as well, very nicely done indeed. Beast has got himself a battle here with Mr. Elite, with Favre and with Gordo, and Dopey Lemons and Mumford are in the fray as well. As down the inside goes the Alpine of Favre there on the inside of Mr. Beast, of Ultimate Beast, I should say. Mr. Beast doesn't race in ALR. Well, there we go then. Favre had the ERS light flashing away, but we go up the hill there, over the hill, I should say, down towards the next sector, and there's been pushing wide, and there's 3 wide. I don't know if Mr. Elite realises that as well, as he goes deep on the brakes there into sector 3, and there's there's carnage. There's going to be carnage. I think it's going to be close indeed between all 6 of these drivers, and Gordo is being sandwiched there by Dopey Lemons there. Dopey Lemons trying to go around the outside. It will turn to the inside now as well in sector 3, and he go diving down the inside there. Gordo has all this contact between the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull, and I'm not sure what Mumford was doing. He seemed to be lagging a bit there. But trying to go around the outside there is the Alfa Romeo there. Can he hold it around the outside? He can. He's got the move up into P8 as well now, as Mr. Elite's gone wide off the circuit as well. Dopey Lemons up into P7 now with a great few corners as well there. And now right onto the back of this battle once again there for Favre Beast as well, as we go down up towards turn 1 once again there. No ERS lights. The ERS lights flashing away there. There's a McLaren making a move. There's a McLaren making a move there. Mumford up into P8 there, getting past 2 Red Bulls into 1 corner, and there he goes then. Blimey. So that was one hell of a few corners, wasn't it? They're still going to unfold. I think their Beast is being pushed around the circuit there by Dopey Lemons now on the medium compound tyres. Mr. Elite has been passed by his teammate of Gordo there. Up into P9 goes Gordo. I think maybe some team orders in play there. Maybe Gordo has a bit more pace there on those hard compound tyres as it stands. And now down the inside there's going to be another move there for Dopey Lemons there, and Beast has seemed to just turn into him there, which you can't really do if there's a car on your inside. But as Russell found out in the Las Vegas Grand Prix, Mumford and B still battling away then. Of course, the hard compound tyres, I think, are not going to be competing with the mediums at this stage, as Dopey Lemons has tried to switch to the inside of the track there, but Mumford's going to go around the outside here with the DRS assistance. He's going to have the inside for the next right-hander as well, and this could be a great move indeed there. He's going to have to get himself a nice bit of traction through here. Dopey Lemon's going to dive down the inside then, and he's going to try and hold it down the inside there, but not quite there. Mumford takes the position up into P6 now as well. B Rabbit in the pit lane now as well. He's called it a day then on the hard compound tyres, but he's going to be dropping down the order there after those who have been behind him. Although they've been battling there, they have got themselves a undercut there on the Mercedes driver, the championship leader there, onto soft compound tyres there. That is going to be interesting stuff indeed. He's going to be flying, of course, in this next stint, but he's going to be down the order. Where is he going to come out as well in relation to the rest of the grid? It's going to be close indeed between himself and Kamara Racer, I think. Kamara Racer is coming up the hill now towards turn 1, but B-Rabbit there has taken the position there. He's taken P10. Well, he's back in P10, I should say, because, of course, he did start there in P10 for this event as well. Sorry, for the sprint event as well. Blimey, there. Tango has got a 6.8 second gap there to the race lead there. Tango is now going to have to try and fight with Cass, and he's going to have to hope that the McLaren's medium compound tyres start to drop off quickly towards the end of this race there. He's done 4 laps more than Tango on those medium compound tyres, so that might come back into Tango's favour towards the end of this race there. Here comes Dopey Lemons there on the attack now on the other McLaren, then down the back straight as well. DRS available there for the Alfa Romeo, then up into P5 he goes and past Mumford into that position. Then he's got the move done, and now he's going to try and chase down Farf as well. Farf for the penalty then, of course, will be added onto his race time at the end of this race, but Dopey Lemons doesn't want to worry about that. He wants to win it on track, or finish it on track, doesn't he? He can get himself within that 1 second window to get himself in that DRS range. Gordo and Beast battling away. Oh, there's almost contact there as well. But Gordo there has to sit in behind the Ferrari for the time being. Mr. Elite there is going to try and cling on to his teammate as well. Hopefully he can do. And B-Rabbit is going to be in their wing mirrors very soon as well. We can see the McLaren in the background there of Cass as he goes down the hill from turn 1. Yeah, like I said, the leaders there are... Look at this. I have to come back to that because the gap... We were seeing the roles reversed there earlier on in this race, weren't we? But the gap now 5.4 seconds when it was 6.8 on the previous lap. This is incredible stuff from Tango. Is really going great guns indeed on those medium compound tyres. Beast and Gordo are battling away as well. Beast up into P7, then he holds on to the position, I think, from Gordo after the ambitious attempt there into turn 1 there from the Red Bull driver there. But he has to sit in behind through the S's section. There's no overtaking really through the S's, and that is that. Then B-Rabbit now is caught up to the back of this pack there, but of course he's on the soft compound tyres, and he's going to have to try and get himself through these battling cars without causing any incidents, without being involved in any incidents as well. And I don't think they're going to be too keen to get out of the way, even though he is the championship leader. Down the inside of Mr. Elite he goes there into P9. The soft compound tyres working wonders there for that move as he goes on to the back straight as well now. 4.8 is the gap in the lead then for Cass, but it's coming down hand over fist there. Dopey Lemons there trying to go down the inside then of Farf there up into P4. Gordo's got himself past Beast, has he? Or down the inside, he's going to try and hold it, but Beast and Gordo still side by side there. B-Rabbit now in this battle as well then. He's got himself past Mr. Elite, he's got himself another Red Bull to pass and a Ferrari as well. Blimey, Gordo is sticking his nose in there as well. He's really not giving up this fight, is he? But I think he might have to get out the fight now as B-Rabbit there has loomed into the background there in the wing mirrors there of the Red Bull. And now I think he might realise that it is his time to yield, I suppose you could say. But no, he doesn't want to give in just yet, does he? As it could be a double overtake here for B-Rabbit. They're down the straight there with DRS as well. With the extra grip, the extra speed on those soft compound tyres there. He pulls out there to the side of the Red Bull, and now Beast comes across to cover, and I think B-Rabbit has to sit in behind. He has to bide his time. Can he go for a switchback on 2 cars there into turn 1? He can't, unfortunately. He has to stay in P9, but now he's going for a move on Beast, and he's going to go around the outside. Is he into the S's section? This is going to be close indeed there. Beast has to take to the off track, I suppose you could say, and up into P8 goes B-Rabbit there after a good move indeed there on both the on the Ferrari, I should say. But Beast did a good job there as well, making sure he kept out of range. They didn't cause any incidents, didn't want to cause any incidents, didn't want to get himself in any trouble. And Beast did a good job there of just avoiding the action, I suppose you could say. Gordo now is down into P8 there. B-Rabbit up into P7. He's got a 6.8 second gap there to Mumford in P6. Gordo there has got DRS, I think, there as well. No, down the back straight we go. As here comes Beast there on Gordo as well. Now up into P8 as well. As I say, they're going to be battling for the rest of the race, I think, these guys. As Camaro has joined the fray as well on the soft compound tyres. And the soft compound tyres, when it comes to cut their way through as well, it's going to be tough indeed for these drivers there. But they're going to be still sticking their noses in, is Gordo. And there's contact between Beast and Gordo as well, again. And I think there was a bit of retaliation there from the Ferrari as well. That is bad news indeed. Camaro has been passed by I think Camaro had an illegal overtake there on Beast. That's why he had to let him back through. And what's happened to Gordo then? Gordo's 5 second corner. I'm not quite sure what is going on here. Camaro has crashed himself into the barrier, and that is going to be a safety car. And unfortunately, that is going to be some sort of ban there for Kamara Racer as well for causing a needless safety car. That is good news, though, for Tango, I suppose, because he can get himself that gap down to Cass. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what was going on there between those drivers. That is going to be, yeah, it's going to be investigated after the race, and there's going to be some penalties handed out for that one, unfortunately. But there we go. So Tango now has got, well, that gap is going to be nullified now between all the drivers, to be fair, who are still in this race. And that is going to be, like I said, it's going to be good news for some. I don't know if Kaz is going to be that happy about it, because I think he was going to try and stretch those medium compound tyres to the end of the race and hope that Tango couldn't catch up there in the latter stages. But we're going to have a safety car here with only what we're going to have 1, 2. We're going to be racing for 4 laps, I think, at the end of this safety car. So that is going to be, going to be championship deciding, I suppose you could say. It could be big news. It could be bad news. It could be good news. You never know. We'll have to wait and see. Into the pits comes the race leader of Cass there. He's decided to get off those medium compound tyres. Is Tango going to come in as well? He is. So both the top two, they're coming into the pit lane there to get off the medium compound tyres now. Dylan is going to stay, and he's coming in as well. There is the top 3. So all the top 3, they're pitting under the safety car here. Right, pit stop action. Is there? No, there's not pit stop action for B Rabbit. It takes P4. He's going to be right behind his championship rivals then as well. They're Dylan and Tango. And this is going to be interesting stuff indeed there to the finish then. Good news for the likes of Gino there. Sick as Muck then can get himself back up the order there. Craig R with no penalties could get himself back in the fight as well, which is good news for Craig R. But yeah, like I said, Liam has said, Tango has asked if Kamara takes PayPal. I'm not sure if he wants to take PayPal, to be honest, because I'm just thinking, I think Tango was going to catch Kaz anyway and potentially get an easier pass, because the medium compound tyres for Kaz were much older. I think he was going to be able to get himself past by the end of the Grand Prix and take the win. And now I think he might have a bit more pressure there from Dylan, from B Rabbit, and from those who have pitted onto the soft compound tyres as well. So it could be, it could work out in Tango's favour. It could not at the same stage. So we'll have to wait and see. But we're just waiting for the safety car to catch the pack up, I should say. Waiting for Sick as Muck to get himself into the safety car queue. But there we go then. So we have a nice little lull in proceedings. Tango finished P2 in the sprint. That is 7 points. Dylan finished P4 in the sprint. That is 5 points. So that is 78 points for 78 points difference there to the championship leader there for Tango, and a something else points for Dylan at the moment. At the moment, the championship fight goes on to Mexico in a week's time for silver, because B Rabbit needed to outscore his championship rivals there and hope that they didn't score as highly as they are currently doing in the Grand Prix as well. So it is still going to go on to Mexico in a week's time, but we'll wait and see. Right then, I think, depending on Jinner and Sick as Muck, then we should have the safety car in very soon indeed. And we can get ourselves back underway. I think we're going to be having, from lap 25, it'll be 25, 26, 27, and 28 then of the of green flag racing to the end of this Grand Prix. 3 seconds there for Sweet 100p there in P5 there, 3 for Farf in P8 there, 3 for Gordo and for Beast in P10 and 11 respectively. VTOD with a 3-second battery in P14, as has Jinner in P16, Stickers Muck in P17. The last runner there in this session has got 6-second penalties on his added to his race time then at the end of this one. Great stuff indeed. Right then. we should be back underway, hopefully, at the end of this lap. And what will we see is the question, because there's a lot of drivers now on soft compound tyres. Old tyres there for B Rabbit, then old mediums for Swim Repeat. He's going to have to try and hold on, and I don't think he's going to be having a great time then compared to Dopey Lemons and Mumford and Favre and Mr. Elite and Ultimate Beast there and the rest of the pack, to be fair, on fresher soft compound tyres. But we'll have to see how it all plays out. I need to join the party as well quickly. 1 second. Bear me 1 second. I've got this wrong, haven't I? Have I joined the party? I am in the party. Good stuff. Safety car in this lap. Perfect stuff indeed. There is your poll for driver of the day as well in the comments section there. So it is B Rabbit, Tango, or Sweet MGP there. Sweet MGP is going to be demoted down the order with the penalty. And, of course, it's going to be a very close finish as well here, because we're only going to have 4 laps of racing to the end of the 28 laps here. The checker flag will fall very soon, but we've got 4 laps of racing to first unfold. Let's see when Kaz is going to go for it. And then he is going to be biding his time, waiting for the safety car to get himself back in the pit lane. He has done, and now Kaz can choose or has to decide when to get the race restarted here as well. And hopefully it's not a difficult restart then. It looks like he's going to go for it now. And off we go then for the rest of this Grand Prix then. And Tango is going to be putting the pressure on. Mumford's got a 3-second penalty. They're cutting the final corner. Unfortunately for Mumford, that's going to be added on to his race time. That is bad news indeed. Tango now all over the back of Kaz. These runners there on the soft compound tyres. And of course are going to be going very quickly indeed. There is the penalty situation. And for those who are voting for driver of the day, Reflection picks up a penalty. V Todd has been passed by Craig. They're battling away then down the back of the order. Here comes Tango. He's 3/10 away from the race lead. He wants that race win then. Can he claim that race win in the next 4 laps here in USA? Jenner's got another 3-second penalty, unfortunately for Jenner, and Sick as Mug as well, picking up penalties all over the place then down the back of the order, unfortunately. Yeah, right then. Tango then is going to try and line up a move there, but he needs to try and bide his time at the same pace, at the same space. Dopey Lemons and Sweet Repeat has been switching around as Beast is what's going on there for Beast. He's off the circuit, and that could cost him a place to Gordo. Then Gordo up into P10 there, into the points paying positions now, as Beast is having a problem there on the traction, I think, there for the Ferrari, as Gordon out into the next corner there. He's being pushed by Beast there through the corner as well. And Beast trying to go around the outside. Then there's more contact as well. Again, these two there have had their problems, it seems, there through the race. But now now it's unfolding right in front of us as well. There's more problems there for SWMJP, though. He's being swamped there by those on the soft compound tyres. Mr. Elite up into P6 there. Mumford around the outside there of SWMJP there. Favre trying to go around the outside as well of the Williams car. And he's up into, well, there's contact between Mumford and Mr. Elite there as well. SWMJP is off the circuit there as well, having problems there. In the Williams, he's come out on the circuit. He's crashed into Mr. Elite. He's gone into the side. Oh, Gordo, I think he's gone into the side of Gordo there. He's down the back of the field then. And I think that's his race over, unfortunately, for Sweden. I'm not quite sure what the rejoin was, and what's going on there in the background as well. Is there what's that? Oh, I think it was the Williams of Sweden trying to get himself back on the circuit then. But blimey, yeah, I'm not quite sure what that rejoin was, as Sweden has retired on track as well. And that is his race done and dusted in here in USA as well. I'm not quite sure what's going on there for the Williams driver. I think he was just struggling there on those medium compound tyres. And that is, again, well, technically a pit and quit, really, because he didn't get himself into the end of the race. Here comes Mumford there on Mr. Elite. They're down the inside. He's got the move up into P6 there. Oh, as Mr. Elite almost into the back there of the McLaren as well. It seems like a few drivers there are getting a bit dicey out there as well with these last few laps. Then 26 of 28. 300 has left the session. Unfortunately for him, he's not having a good time there out here. Tango is now all over the back there, but Dillon has gone through as well. Dopey Lemons has dropped off the back here. 3 seconds now between the top 3 and Dopey Lemons there. Beast and Favre switching places as well. Into sector 3 we go then for lap 26 then. Only 2 more laps to go after this one. And yeah, blimey, I think it's starting to get a bit turn into a bit of anarchy, hasn't it, as well, especially with the likes of Beast and Gordo. But I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I'm sure it'll be looked at after the race indeed. Tango there has got himself a nice, well, the top three have got themselves a nice little gap. Like I was saying, DRS now available, and this is good news that at least there's a couple of laps there for DRS there for Tango, for Dylan potentially to go for the race lead here. But Kaz, of course, wants doesn't want DRS, of course, available for those drivers behind him. He wants to just get to the end of the race and have the win confirmed. But of course, Tango, I think, will have something to say about that. Gordo's been passed by McConey now. Up into P10 goes the Williams driver there, but Gordo trying to fight back as well. Down the hill we go towards the S's as well. McConey up into the points pen positions as it stands. Of course, no penalties there for the Williams driver. Oh, it's almost in the back there for Gordo there. He has to back out very slightly. Craig Ar's picked up a 3-second penalty. That is bad news for him. He was going without no penalties there for Craig Ar. Could have got himself in the points as well without any penalties in this race. Gordo is struggling now. He's dropped off the back there of McConey there, and he's dropped out of DRS range there. Reflection could open the door. Sorry, for the Mercedes driver. Here comes Tango there with DRS there down the back straight there, trying to get himself in prime position then for the race lead, potentially on the last lap as well here. And this could get interesting indeed, as Mr. Elite and Farf are switching places as well. Farf down the inside there of Beast as well. Beast has been pushed off the circuit then, and now what's going on? Mr. Elite has got himself into a fight there with Beast. Now Beast is trying to push him through the corner, and Beast is, I think, getting a bit overheated. Let's put it that way in this race. As down the inside goes McConey as well. Then McConey trying to make trying to make some moves in this one as well. Of course, he's going to get these get 4 places anyway with the penalty situation there for the drivers ahead of him. He's going to be able to get those positions regardless, as Mr. Elite is fighting tooth and nail there for the points pair positions as well. Up the top of the order there, Tango is trying to go for a move. Is he going to go for the lead of the Grand Prix here? Down the inside, or up the inside, I should say, there into turn 1. He's got the move done into P1 on the final lap of the race there. B-Rabbit has been passed by Mumford there as well into P5. And Mumford and B-Rabbit are battling away on their own pretty much at the end of this race. They've got a nice gap there as Dylan is looking to get his nose in there. Tango's lost out there to Kaz as well through the S's, I think, there into the end of sector 1 now. And Tango's dropped down to P2, and this could be problematic there for Tango there. He could lose the lead, he could lose the race win, he could lose P2 even to Dylan as well, as we go down into the onto the back straight for the final time here in the USA round this for this season, I should say, as well. Right then, Tango there has got some DRS, he's got some ERS, the red light flashing there on the McLaren, but can he make the move? Is he too far back? Is he close enough to make a dive there down the inside? He's going to go for it anyway. He's made the dive bomb. Oh, no, he's off the circuit there, and that is costly indeed. And Dylan, I think, is going to go through as well. And that is Tango's going to, I think, take the win on the track. But I think that might be a penalty coming Tango's way there for the move that he made there. He has let Kaz back through. I'm not sure what Kaz is doing there, but trying to push him back off the circuit. But nonetheless, there we go. And Dylan is going to try and hold around the outside. Can he go for the move down the inside now on the penultimate corner? No, not quite. Tango is going to push through. And no, I think it's going to stay status quo then as we cross the finish line here in the US of A. But Kaz takes the win on track as well. Tango in P2. Dylan takes P3. Dopey Lemons in P4. What a fantastic finish indeed. B-Rabbit gets P5 with Mumford's penalty there into P5 for the championship contender. But the championship fight goes on to Mexico next week. It will carry on for one more round at least. There we go then. Blimey. Driver of the day was Gordo then. He did get himself across the checkered flag, across the finish line. Beast has left the session though, but there we go. We'll have a run through of the classification here in this chaotic, I think is probably the right word to say, but a thrilling USA Grand Prix nonetheless there. Jenna has left the session as well, but fair play. I think Jenna did carry on in this race regardless of the issues that he had at the beginning of the Grand Prix as well. But there you go then. Kaz on the top step of the podium, celebrating in style in the McLaren there. Tango in P2 in the Aston Martin then, and of course Dylan in P3. The championship, of course, the championship fight goes on to Mexico next week, so stay tuned for some more action here in Silver in a week's time. But we'll get the interviews underway we'll run through the classification then of the Grand Prix itself. Kaz there takes the win there, fastest lap as well for Tango. That's good news for him in P2. Unfortunately, he would have wanted the win as well as that fastest lap, of course, but he has to settle with what he's got there. Dylan in P3, Dopey Lemons P4, B Rabbit in P5, Mumford in P6. Then, unfortunately, Mumford there, he dropped down the order on the wrong way round, I should say. Farf in P7, then McConey P8 in the end, Mr. Elite in P9, Reflection in P10. Actually, I think we've got people leaving as well, so no, we don't. That's all right. Craig R in P11 there, Beast in P12, V Todd in P13, and that is your order there. Gino in P14, Gordo P15, Sickers Muck P16, and everybody else, unfortunately, DNF'd. Wonderful stuff indeed. We will hopefully get the interviews underway. We'll just double check, see if anybody's going to join us. But what a race indeed that was. That was absolutely fantastic. Well done to the top three finishers in the end as well. It was a bit of a chaotic Grand Prix indeed. And like I was saying, it was it was the title fight, I think, that got to everybody then as well. But nonetheless, it was a interesting finish, put it that way. We've been joined by I think we've been joined by Tango there. Tango there, you're P2 in this race. If everyone could just mute if you're not. Tango in P2. Oh, sorry, we'll go to Dylan first because Dylan, we're P3. Sorry, Tango. We'll come back to you in a bit. Dylan there in P3 in this race. What was your thoughts on that Grand Prix as a whole then in the end? Dylan, can you hear us? I'm trying to get some interviews underway, but nobody's wanted to. All right, we'll come to Tango then. Tango, how was your race from your point of view? Did you think you're going to have the race lead at the end there? Okay, I don't think they can hear me for some reason. So we'll have to just call it a day there on the interviews then. But I'm not sure. Can you hear me now? Dylan, can you hear me? All right, Dylan, there we'll come to you first. Like I was saying, it was a difficult race there. It looked like, and you were clinging on at one point to the. I think it was in the beginning of the first stint there, but you really called it right on the strategy. I think then the medium compound tires at that time got you back in the DRS there of P2 in the end of Tango. And did you think you might be on the cards for a better result than P3? You still had some good pace to show us, of course, and like I said, I don't think I just think it was the two ahead of you there that were just as fast, if not slightly a bit faster. That was the only reason why you couldn't get the win here in both the sprint and the feature, to be honest. But you still keep the title charge alive potentially. Are you thinking of Mexico next week? Are you thinking I can get the win there and keep the title alive? Good stuff indeed, and well done to Dylan as well in the sprint and in the feature, of course, tonight. Very good points indeed for himself and the Alfa Romeo team. Tango, then you were basically sort of conjoined with Cass there in the in that race, in the sprint and the feature as well. Did you think you're going to have the victory there in either of them, to be honest, or we just wait? We just basically trying to bide your time and wait for the Grand Prix finish as well. And you seem to be playing a bit of DRS mind games there. I think it was the end of the sprint as well, and definitely at the end of the Grand Prix. Did you can talk us through that? What was happening there? Well, it certainly looked like you had the pace there in all of the sessions tonight. And to be fair, do you still take the challenge to be Rabbit then in the title for next week as well? Same as Dylan. Then are you thinking of keeping the championship alive for a few more races, or would you reckon it might be over next week? We'll see, But very well done to Tango there, P2 in the sprint and the feature as well, and Grand Prix, I should say. Really, it's not really a feature. And then we have our race winner, or both our race winners there. Kaz there in the McLaren tonight. They got the win in the sprint and the Grand Prix itself. But you had to fight for it, didn't you? Well, we'll start with the sprint then. You're having a battle there with, the top four of you all disappeared off in the distance compared to the rest of the grid there. Did you think you had the race win or the sprint win covered there in that final few laps there, or did you think you might lose out to Tango at the end then?
On the sector 2 main straight, but it was not that much. So yeah, it was like what I thought it would be a 70-30% chance of winning. It was hard. My heartbeat was so high.
Well, you got the race win as well. And did you think that did you think you were going to win the race before the safety car came out? Is the other question I was going to ask.
Yeah, I was managing my tires and gaining some battery, so I can fight him if he was close enough. But then the safety car came out, and now like everyone was going into the pits for softs. But I had only a used one because I used it on the beginning of the race, and he had a new one, I think.
Oh, well, it worked out in the end for you guys in the
Yeah.
mechanic garage, that is, anyway. And you got the race win as well. Congratulations to Kaz as well. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you in a full-time seat very soon. But well done to all the drivers who got themselves to the checkered flag. That one, it was a bit of a chaotic race at the end of that one, but very entertaining indeed. So go back and watch it for sure. But we're on to Mexico next week for silver. The title carries on there into the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, if you want to say that in a Spanish accent, go for it. But of course, in bronze tomorrow night we have more action here in the US of A, another sprint event as well, and in F2 it's the penultimate round. The championship in F2 could be decided as well on Wednesday night, so stay tuned to ALR's. Plenty more action coming up, and we'll see you soon.